All right, Cowboys Nation, buckle up because today we're going all in on the drama, the truth, and the pulse of what's happening inside America's team. This isn't just another week in Dallas. This is one of those moments where fans are questioning everything from the front office decisions to what's actually happening on the field. So, let's dive in because Jerry Jones has been talking again. And you already know that when Jerry starts talking, the headlines start writing themselves. The Cowboys owner came out and said something that made a lot of fans raise an eyebrow. He claimed that the team's pass rush is one of the strongest aspects of a defense right now. Yeah, you heard that right. According to Jerry, the Cowboys are loaded with pass rush talent, full of depth, and capable of rotating players at will. But let's be honest here, that's just not matching up with what we're seeing every Sunday. This defense might have some names, but it doesn't have the impact we've come to expect from a Dallas unit that once prided itself on pressure. Let's keep it real. You've got guys like Dante Fowler, Sam Williams, James Houston, and a few others trying to make noise off the edge, but none of them are producing like true game changers. Williams and Fowler each have around 15 pressures so far, which sound fine until you realize those numbers don't even crack the top 40 in the league. Houston has been efficient with his limited snaps, but that's about it. The guys up front, the defensive tackles like OSA, Odazawa, and Kenny Clark, are actually leading the team in pressures. Think about that. Your defensive tackles are outproducing your edge rushers. That's not exactly the kind of dominance Jerry Jones was talking about. Now, maybe Jerry's trying to keep morale up. Maybe he's doing the classic front office thing, talking up the team to keep fans in the locker room confident. But fans aren't blind. You can watch this defense and see that quarterbacks have way too much time in the pocket. You can see the lack of finishing ability when they actually do get some pressure. And yeah, they've got a rotation. But what's the point of rotating guys who aren't making much of a difference in the first place? Dallas doesn't have that elite edge rusher that offenses have to game plan around and showing up week after week. Jerry loves to sell optimism, and he's been doing it for decades. But this version feels especially disconnected from reality. Maybe he's remembering the days when DeMarcus Lawrence was wrecking games or when Micah Parsons was blowing up plays every other snap. But right now, that spark is gone. This defense looks confused, inconsistent, and straight up overmatched at times. The numbers don't lie, and neither do the eyes of fans watching from home who are wondering what happened to that old Dallas swagger. Then there's the whole situation with defensive coordinator Matt Everfluss. The front office, Jerry and Stephen Jones, are standing by him publicly. Offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer even came out this week saying Eberflus is a damn good football coach and that they just need to execute better. He's backing him 100%, saying they're going to ride it out together and find a way to fix things. But here's the thing, Dallas doesn't like in-season firings. That's just not their style. When the front office handpicks a coordinator, they're not going to turn around and admit they made a mistake a few months later. And that's really the heart of the issue with this organization. Accountability. Jerry Jones loves to take credit when things go right. But when they don't, it's always someone else's fault. It's never the roster decisions, never the coaching hires, never the meddling from up top. The Cowboys have been stuck in this loop for years. Flashes of greatness follow by frustrating collapses. And yet the same leadership keeps making the same kind of moves. You don't need to be an insider to see it. The pattern is obvious. Even when Jerry talks about Everfluss, he does it in that same tone that screams deflection. He said, "That's who I want in the foxhole with me," and that he still believes in the guy just as much as the day he hired him. He described the team's defensive struggles as a lot of little things we can't get right instead of acknowledging the obvious. This defense has major problems that go beyond small tweaks. But what that statement really shows is something else entirely. It's basically Jerry admitting in his own subtle way that Everfluss was his call from start. There was never really a search for a defensive coordinator when Brian Schottenheimer became head coach. It was all pre-decided. The same front office that picked Kellen Moore for Mike McCarthy also picked Eberfluss for Schottenheimer. This is what the Cowboys do. They make the decisions from upstairs and expect the coaches to go along with it. It's a culture that's been in place for decades, and it's one of the biggest reasons this team can't seem to get over the hump. You can change the coach, you can shuffle the roster, but as long as the Jones family keeps pulling every string, the results don't really change. And that's what makes this current moment so frustrating for fans. You've got talent on this roster, no doubt. The offense has playmakers. The defense has potential, but the consistency just isn't there. One week they look sharp and aggressive. The next week they look lost and flat-footed. And every time Jerry gets in front of microphone to say everything's fine, it just feels like a distraction from the actual problems. Cowboys Nation isn't falling for it anymore. Now, the front office is hoping for a spark with the return of some injured players. Brian Schottenheimer hinted that Deervey and Overshown could be back soon, maybe within the next couple of weeks. That's a big one because this linebacker group desperately needs help. Oversh instincts and coverage ability. 3 things the current group has been missing. But even then, you can't put the whole defense on one guy's shoulders, especially a player coming off a major knee injury. The expectations have to stay realistic. Still, fans are excited about getting Overshown back, and they should be. The linebacker play has been rough. Guys like Kenneth Murray just aren't diagnosing plays fast enough. They're reacting late, missing gaps, and getting burned in coverage. At this point, it might be worth giving more snaps to younger players just to see if they can bring a spark. Overshown's athleticism alone could make a difference, but Dallas can't expect him to be some kind of savior. They need collective improvement, better tackling, better pursuit, better awareness, because right now the defense looks like it's thinking instead of reacting. And it's not just Overshown. There's cautious optimism around some of the offensive players, too. Jerry Jones and Schottenheimer both said that C.D. Lamb, Cavani Turpin, and Tyler Badass could all return soon. If Lamb gets back, that's huge. He completely changes how defenses play against this offense. With Lamb, George Pickens, and the rest of the receiving core, Dallas finally gets the chance to roll out that 3-headed monster fans have been waiting for all season. Without him, it's been easier for defenses to key in on specific matchups, and you can feel that lack of explosion in the passing game. Turpin's situation looks promising as well. He's reportedly dealing with a foot issue similar to what Darren Bland had earlier in the year, and Bland came back after just 2 weeks. If that timeline holds, Turpin should be back soon, which is a big boost for special teams and offensive gadget plays. And Tyler Badass returning would help stabilize an offensive line that's been struggling to find rhythm, especially in the run game. Backup linemen like Brock Hoffman just haven't held up well against stronger defensive fronts, and it's shown in how inconsistent the ground attack has been. So yeah, there's some hope on the horizon, but it all comes back to the same question. Will any of it matter if the front office doesn't change how it operates? That's the real conversation around the Cowboys right now. You can get healthy. You can shuffle the depth chart. But the culture, the mindset from the top, that's what defines this team. Jerry Jones wants credit for being the architect of America's team. But you can't be the architect forever without ever taking the blame when the building starts to crack. Cowboys fans are some of the most passionate and loyal in the world. But they're also tired. Tired of hearing the same promises. Tired of watching the same patterns repeat. Tired of seeing flashes of brilliance vanish under the weight of front office politics and questionable decisions. It's not about hating Jerry Jones. It's about wanting accountability from the guy who insists on being the face and the voice of everything this franchise does. What really defines this Cowboys season isn't just the injuries or the stats. It's the identity crisis that's been building quietly for years. You can feel it every time this team steps on the field. One moment they look like contenders flying around making plays, dominating in all 3 phases. Then just as quickly they collapse into the same old mistakes. It's mental errors, missed tackles, blown coverages, and inconsistent play calling. You start to wonder if this is really a talent issue or something deeper, something that starts way above the players and coaches. Because let's face it, the Cowboys have the talent. They've got stars at key positions. They've drafted well in certain areas, but they never seem to maximize that potential when it matters most. It's like watching a sports car rev its engine but never get out of second gear. And that comes down to leadership. Leadership on the sideline, leadership in the locker room, and yes, leadership in the front office. When your general manager is also your owner and your spokesperson, there's no one above him to hold him accountable. The culture becomes about ego, not excellence. That's the vibe around the Cowboys right now. It's not that Jerry Jones doesn't care. Nobody can question his passion. But sometimes passion without discipline turns into chaos. He's in every conversation, every decision, every headline. And when he says things like, "Our past rush is our biggest strength," it doesn't motivate the players. It exposes how out of touch he might be with what's actually happening on the field. The defense hears that, the fans hear that, and everyone knows it's not the truth. It just creates more noise, more pressure, and more frustration. Meanwhile, the players are left to answer for it. Guys like Micah Parsons, who's supposed to be the face of this defense, are getting double-teamed every snap because no one else up front is winning one-on-one battles. The secondary has been left hanging, too, trying to compensate for the lack of pressure. When quarterbacks have all day to throw, even elite corners can only cover for so long. The defensive scheme starts breaking down, confidence slips, and suddenly you're watching the same problems repeat over and over again. And then there's Brian Schottenheimer. He's in a tough spot, no doubt. He's trying to run his offense, deal with the injuries, and now he's having to help out the defensive side just to steady the ship. When the offensive coordinator has to spend part of his week working with the defense, that tells you just how unstable things are. It's not just about play calling anymore. It's about damage control. Schottenheimer has been diplomatic in his comments, talking about teamwork and belief, but you can tell he's walking a tightrope. He knows what's wrong, but he can't say it out loud. Still, there are glimmers of hope, and that's what keeps Cowboys Nation hanging on. The return of C.D. Lamb could reignite this offense. You can see how much they miss him when he's out. Without his ability to win one-on-one matchups and stretch defenses vertically, everything else tightens up. Defenses stack the box. They send extra pressure, and Dak Prescott ends up forcing plays that aren't there. Lamb's presence changes the math. It makes defenses play more honest. If he's truly healthy and ready to go, it could open up opportunities for George Pickens and Brandon Cooks to find mismatches on the outside. Cavani Turpin is another piece that brings energy back to this team. He's one of those players that doesn't always fill up the stat sheet, but his impact is real. On special teams, he flips field position. On offense, he could be that spark plug that gives you life in key moments. Having him back adds a layer of unpredictability that's been missing the past couple of games. And if the offensive line can get healthier with Tyler Badass returning, maybe the running game finally starts clicking again. That's been one of the quiet disappointments this season, the lack of physicality in the trenches. Dallas used to bully teams with their offensive line, but lately it's been the other way around. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers in the league are growing louder, and if the latest shatter holds any weight, Dallas Cowboys fans might have a reason to be excited. Sources close to the organization suggest that the Cowboys have quietly struck a deal to bring in star wide receiver Chris Godwin, doing so in a way that's both clever and within the team's salary cap constraints. While nothing has been officially announced, the signs point to a strategic move that could reshape the Cowboys' offensive dynamics heading into the next season. Godwin, known for his crisp route running, reliable hands, and ability to make plays in critical situations, would instantly upgrade a Cowboys receiving core that has shown flashes but still lacks a true game-breaking presence. Rumors suggest that the team's front office and Godwin's camp have been in talks for weeks, working on a structure that keeps the deal under the cap while still offering Godwin a meaningful role and a chance to shine in one of the league's most high-profile offenses. The timing is intriguing, with Dallas looking to solidify its championship aspirations. Adding a proven talent like Godwin could signal a shift from a team that has relied heavily on internal development to one that is willing to make bold, calculated moves in free agency. Insiders hint that the intelligent aspect of this agreement may involve creative incentives, bonuses, or performance-based clauses designed to maximize flexibility while rewarding on-field production. Of course, in the NFL, nothing is ever truly final until ink hits paper, and caution remains the watchword for fans who've been burned by rumors before. Yet, if this deal materializes, as insiders suggest, it would instantly make the Cowboys one of the most dangerous passing teams in the league. Imagine pairing Godwin's polished skill set with the arm talent and offensive weapons already in Dallas. The possibilities are tantalizing, and the chatter around town is impossible to ignore. For now, all we can do is watch closely. The Cowboys may be plotting a stealthy, high-reward addition that could pay off in a big way. If Godwin does arrive, it won't just be a signing, it would be a statement. Dallas is serious about contending, and they're willing to get creative to make it happen. Rumor has it the coming weeks could bring more clarity, and for Cowboys fans, that's enough to keep hearts racing and conversations buzzing. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next.